The cosmic abode echoes from the edge of reality. The manuscript lay before me. Its pages yellowed with age, the ink faded but still legible. As I began to read, I felt a chill run down my spine, for the tale contained within was one of cosmic horror and mind-bending terror. This is the story of the recluse, a man who found himself caught between worlds, facing entities beyond human comprehension. Our narrator, whose name is lost to time, begins his account with a description of an ancient house, perched precariously on the edge of a vast chasm in rural Ireland. The house, a crumbling edifice of grey stone and dark wood, seemed to exist in a place where reality itself was thin, where the veil between our world and others wavered like a mirage in the desert heat. The recluse, a man seeking solitude and escape from the mundane world, had purchased this isolated property, drawn by its remote location and the promise of uninterrupted contemplation. Little did he know that this decision would plunge him into a nightmare beyond imagining. From the very first night in the house, strange occurrences began to plague the recluse. Shadows moved of their own accord. Whispering voices echoed through empty corridors, and a pervasive sense of being watched by unseen eyes made sleep all but impossible. But it was the dreams that truly marked the beginning of his ordeal. In these vivid nightmares, the recluse found himself transported to alien landscapes, vast plains beneath unfamiliar stars, where colossal structures of impossible geometry loomed on the horizon. Entities of pure energy drifted through the void, their very presence warping the fabric of reality. Each morning, he would wake drenched in sweat, the memory of these cosmic vistas burning in his mind. As days turned to weeks, the boundary between dream and reality began to blur. The recluse would catch glimpses of otherworldly vistas through the windows of the house, only for them to vanish when he looked again. Objects would move on their own, and time itself seemed to flow strangely, with hours passing in what felt like minutes, or days stretching into eternity. It was during one of these periods of temporal distortion that the first direct attack came. The recluse was in his study, poring over ancient tombs in search of an explanation for the phenomena he was experiencing, when he heard a sound that chilled him to his very core. It was a shuffling, scraping noise, as if something massive and unnatural was dragging itself across the floor. With trembling hands, he lit a candle and ventured into the hallway. The flickering light cast grotesque shadows on the walls, shadows that seemed to move and twist of their own accord. And there, at the end of the corridor, he saw them, the Swinethings. These creatures defied description, a nightmarish fusion of human and porcine features. Their bloated bodies were covered in coarse bristles, their faces a twisted parody of both man and beast. But it was their eyes that truly horrified the recluse. Utterly black and devoid of any spark of intelligence or mercy, the Swinethings charged, their hooves clattering on the wooden floor, their inhuman squeals echoing through the house. The recluse fled, his heart pounding in his chest, barely managing to barricade himself in the study. For hours he listened to the creatures, throwing themselves against the door, their relentless assault shaking the very foundations of the house. When dawn finally broke, the Swinethings retreated, leaving behind only deep gouges in the wood of the door and a lingering stench of decay. But the recluse knew this was only the beginning. He had glimpsed something that should not be, and now the barriers between worlds were crumbling. In the days that followed, the recluse fortified the house as best he could, boarding up windows and reinforcing doors. But he knew that physical defenses would be of little use against the cosmic forces that were converging on this nexus point between realities. It was during this time that he made a startling discovery. hidden in the cellar of the house, beneath layers of dust and debris. He found an ancient manuscript. The text was written in a language he had never seen before, the characters seeming to shift and change as he looked at them. But somehow he could understand their meaning. The manuscript spoke of the house itself, revealing that it was no ordinary structure, but a cosmic fulcrum, a point where multiple dimensions intersected. It had been built eons ago by beings of unimaginable power, as a watchtower, from which they could observe the multiverse. But something had gone wrong, and now the house stood abandoned, a doorway through which horrors from beyond could enter our reality. Armed with this knowledge, the recluse began to understand the true nature of his predicament. The Swingthings were but the vanguard of a cosmic invasion, foot soldiers sent to test the defenses of our dimension. Behind them lurked entities of such vast power and alien intelligence that merely perceiving them could drive a human mind to madness. As if summoned by his realization, the attacks intensified. The Swingthings returned in greater numbers, their assaults becoming more coordinated and relentless. But they were no longer alone. Other creatures, things that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the human mind could comprehend, began to manifest in and around the house. The recluse saw tentacles of pure darkness writhing through the air, leaving trails of void in their wake. Spheres of pulsating energy phased in and out of existence, their mere presence causing reality to warp and buckle. And always, at the edge of perception, he could sense vast intelligences watching, waiting, their cosmic patience, far outstripping the lifespan of any mortal being. In his dreams, which now blended seamlessly with his waking hours, the recluse traveled further into the cosmos. He witnessed the birth and death of universes, saw civilizations rise and fall on worlds, orbiting dying suns, and glimpsed entities so vast that entire galaxies were but motes of dust in their unfathomable eyes. But it was not all terror and cosmic horror. In these journeys, the recluse also encountered beings of light and beauty, entities that seemed to embody concepts of love, growth, and harmony on a universal scale. These celestial allies provided him with knowledge and strength, preparing him for the battle that was to come. For battle it would be. The manuscript had revealed one final, crucial piece of information. The house, this cosmic watchtower, contained within it the power to seal the breach between dimensions. But to activate this power would require a tremendous sacrifice, a fusion of human will with cosmic energy that would likely destroy the recluse in the process. As the forces of chaos pressed in from all sides, the recluse made his decision. He would make his stand here at the borderland between worlds and fight to preserve the reality he called home. The final siege began on a night when all the stars seemed to have fled the sky. The air itself felt heavy, charged with otherworldly energies. The Swingthings came first, waves of them crashing against the walls of the house. Like a tide of nightmares made flesh, behind them came the other entities. Things of shadow and void, of twisted dimensions and impossible geometries. The recluse fought with every weapon at his disposal. He used the knowledge gleaned from the manuscript to erect barriers of pure energy, to bend space itself, to repel the invaders. His mind, expanded by his cosmic journeys, reached out to grapple with the vast intelligences directing the assault. The battle raged for what felt like eternities. The house shook and twisted, its very substance seeming to fluctuate between states of matter. Rooms expanded to the size of planets, then contracted to infinitesimal points. Time flowed backwards and forwards, and realities bled into one another. Through it all, the recluse stood firm, the eye of the storm in this maelstrom of cosmic chaos. He could feel his sanity fraying, his human consciousness, struggling to maintain coherence in the face of forces beyond mortal comprehension. But he also felt a growing power within him, a connection to the cosmic energies that flowed through the house. In the final moment, as the barriers between worlds thinned to the point of breaking, the recluse made his move, drawing upon every ounce of strength and knowledge he had acquired. He reached out to the core of the house's power. As he did so, he felt his physical form begin to dissolve, his consciousness expanding to fill the entire structure. There was a moment of perfect clarity, a single instant in which the recluse could see the entirety of the multiverse spread out before him. He saw the threads of reality, the cosmic tapestry of existence, and understood his place within it. And with that understanding came the power to act. With a thought that reverberated across dimensions, the recluse activated the house's ancient defenses. A pulse of energy, pure and cleansing, radiated outward. The invading entities were cast back, the breaches between worlds sealed. Reality reasserted itself, the laws of physics snapping back into place like elastic, pulled too tight and suddenly released. As the cosmic storm subsided, the house on the borderland stood silent and still. Of the recluse there was no sign. Had he been destroyed in the final conflagration, or had he transcended, becoming one with the cosmic forces he had battled? The manuscript, found years later by explorers drawn to the legends surrounding the house, offers no clear answers. But sometimes, on nights when the stars seem particularly bright and close, those who visit the ruins of the house on the borderland report strange occurrences. They speak of glimpsing other worlds through cracks in the air, of hearing whispers in an unknown language that speaks of cosmic wonders and terrors. And some swear they can feel a presence, ancient and powerful, standing guard at the borderland between realities. The tale of the house on the borderland serves as a reminder of the vastness of the cosmos and the tenuousness of our understanding of reality. It speaks to the courage required to face the unknown, and the sacrifices sometimes necessary to protect our small corner of the universe. As for the recluse, his fate remains a mystery. But perhaps in some far-flung corner of the cosmos, on the edge of reality itself, a consciousness that was once human still stands watch, guarding the borders between worlds, a silent sentinel against the chaos that lurks beyond the veil of our perception. The story of the house on the borderland has become something of a legend among those who study the paranormal and the cosmic. Researchers and thrill-seekers alike are drawn to the ruins, hoping to catch a glimpse of the otherworldly phenomena described in the recluse's manuscript. Some claim to have experienced time slips, finding themselves momentarily transported to other eras or even other worlds. Others report encounters with shadowy entities that defy the laws of physics, appearing and disappearing at will. But all who visit the site come away changed, their perception of reality irrevocably altered. The scientific community remains skeptical, attributing the reports to overactive imaginations or hallucinations induced by the power of suggestion. Yet even the most hardened skeptics find it difficult to explain away the strange readings picked up by sensitive equipment. Brought to the site fluctuations in electromagnetic fields, gravitational anomalies, and radiation patterns that seem to defy known laws of physics. As the years pass, the legend of the house on the borderland only grows. It has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film, each attempting to capture the cosmic horror and wonder of the recluse's experience. But perhaps the true legacy of the house lies not in its ability to terrify, but in its power to awaken us to the vast possibilities that exist beyond our limited perception of reality. For in the end, the story of the house On the Borderland is a story about the human spirit, its resilience, its courage, and its unquenchable thirst for knowledge. It reminds us that even in the face of cosmic horrors and unfathomable entities, one person can make a difference. The recluse, through his sacrifice, saved not just our world, but countless others from a fate too terrible to imagine. And so the house stands, a silent sentinel on the edge of reality. Its walls may have crumbled, its rooms may lie open to the sky, but its power remains. It continues to guard the borderlands between worlds, a cosmic watchtower manned by a consciousness that was once human but has become something far more. To those who would seek out the house on the borderland, a word of caution: be prepared to have your understanding of reality challenged, for once you have glimpsed the cosmic truths that lie beyond our mundane existence, there is no going back. The veil, once lifted, can never be fully lowered again. But for those brave enough to face the unknown, the house on the borderland offers a glimpse into the infinite. It stands as a testament to the indomitable human spirit, a reminder that even in the vastness of the cosmos, we are not insignificant, for in our courage, our curiosity, and our capacity for sacrifice, we touch the face of the infinite. And perhaps, just perhaps, in those quiet moments when the stars align and reality grows thin, we might hear an echo from beyond, the whisper of a consciousness, vast and ancient, yet once human, still standing guard at the borders of existence, protecting us from the chaos that lies beyond.